The last best of three of the day, of Group A actually, here at the playoffs of the End of the Storm North America. We have Cognitive going up against THC White, the consolation match, so to say. Cloud9 already advanced, being first in the group, but one more team can advance to the round of 8 out of Group A, and it's going to be one of these two bad boys. Infernal Shrines is our first map now, and Cognitive is looking at a ban on Falstad. Now, when it comes to bans overall, we've seen a lot of prioritization on damage dealers, and Thrall could be one of them. We've seen a bit more focus on Liming, for example. Usually it's the second ban that has to decide if they want to allow Zul or not. In the last series, we actually had the hero played twice. But for now, Cognitive, especially after the last game, apparently, they are not really too fond playing against the Thrall here. King Caffeine, best Thrall in A confirmed, more or less. Zeratul is currently looked at by THC White, which would once again allow Zul. And if Cognitive locks him down right away, then I personally want to see if they stick with their build that they showed in the game against Cloud9, where they put a huge focus on the skeletal mages, or on the skeletons overall. It was still Poison Over as the heroic ability. Yes, they go for him. Or if they're going to adjust the build and put more of a focus on the amplified damage and also the cursed strikes. THC White with the immediate lockdown on Greymane and Sonya. Now, we have Rhaegar still available, and that is one of the heroes that Cognitive would actually go for right now. They already have Zul, and this time they actually go...
You are not prepared!
Mashed potatoes are neat. I'll take a word for it, dude. But I enjoy them as well. Thanks for the sub, my friend. But, well, in this case now we have a Jaina and that Rhaegar. So, as expected, Rhaegar. Already talked about it, that I thought it would be a great pick here, and they agree, they take Rhaegar. And with Jaina, we could now really see a bit of a focus on level 16 also on the amplified damage, so that Jaina gets even more value out of her Blizzard. So that could definitely be a thing. When it comes to bans, I mean, we are probably going to see THC White with a Mirrodin here. You can, of course, go for a Johanna as well, but one of the problems is that in one of the recent patches, Knight takes Pawn was slightly adjusted so that it doesn't do extra damage anymore against the minions on the shrines. An Abathur ban. Okay, so that's interesting right now. You could have definitely gone for a ban on the tank. Abathur being banned out caters, of course, towards Jaina being picked here. A double Jaina is still very scary. And in this case, actually, you can soak a lot of experience with Abathur on the map. That sound is still very loud, I think. It's Good Marines. Thank you very much for that, dude. Thanks for the support, bro.
Hashtag FreeWiz spam in the chat. Wow.
FreeWiz, yeah. I actually don't know what's currently the status on that. Mirrodin, by the way, has been banned. So Mirrodin would have been probably the preferred pick for THC White, as mentioned before. Together with the Sonya, they can both jump in. That would be very powerful. And we've seen in the series before how highly not only Cloud9 but also Cognitive values Mirrodin. But we still have a couple of tanks around. So you could go into an ETC here, for example. ETC and Johanna are good choices. Johanna, as I said, Knight takes Pawn, not really affecting the minions on the shrines anymore, but she is still very powerful. And first of all, again, a bit of a look at Tassadar. Now, as I said before, Europe still likes to play Tassadar solo a lot. We've seen it in North America, but it's not really as much of a common theme as it is in Europe. So there is a good chance that THCY decides that they are actually going to add a second support to this. If you want to have a second support, you can go in, like, you can, for example, even play Brightwing. Brightwing Tassadar definitely is a combo that can work. Tyrande Tassadar can also be used. You can then start to, like, skill Tyrande a little bit towards damage if you really feel that you don't need the full heal out of it. And on this map in particular, we have actually also, like, seen a Tyrande Tassadar combination, if I'm not wrong, in the regional finals in Katowice for Europe. With Starfall. We've seen a lot more Tyrande Rhaegar though, but Tyrande Tassadar is definitely something that you can play. They still need a frontliner though. And I would definitely like for them to go into their second frontliner now, because Cognitive is also missing their tank. And if Cognitive picks it away, then it really is a bit annoying, and you would be a bit more flexible if you are THC White on your last pick. So when it comes to the tank, I feel like an ETC would really work quite well here. If you don't want to go ETC, Johanna is still strong. Tyrael can be really cool as well. I mean, you get extra shields out of him, so that can work if you have someone else at the side. But ETC it is. As I said, I like ETC here. I feel like it's really cool to have an ETC together with a Sonya. It's very scary. We've actually earlier seen a couple of leap builds on Sonya already. And if you go leap into a potential mosh pit, that can actually be very scary, or the other way around. Cognitive, they showcased the Lunara in the games before, and it went to a degree where, especially like Cloud9 actually banned Lunara out. That of course catered a little bit to the composition that they were trying to play here, but it's a very annoying comp, or a very annoying hero to deal with for sure. So very high damage. Zul, Jaina, Lunara, that's a very scary composition that Cognitive is currently drafting for our first game here in the series. And THC, well, first of all, Cognitive needs their frontliner. Again, Johanna can be used in this setup. Personally, I would, like, oftentimes in North America a little bit more often than in Europe, we see also, like, a Leoric as a frontline. I personally don't like it really too much if he's the solo healer, the solo tank. If you have him as a tank alone on the map, then it oftentimes works if you have a Thrall next to him. In this case, he would be the only frontliner, not counting Zul. And I feel that would be a bit of liability. I like that Stitches, though. It's a bit of a combo that has been played in Europe as well. Stitches together with Lunara, so that works. Johanna would have worked here. Stitches would have been a fan of a Diablo either. But yeah, I suppose like Stitches and Johanna would have been the best choices in this case. And Stitches it is. A hero that we have seen quite a bit in Europe as well. And of course, for quite some time, Stitches was actually banned out. And here comes the second healer. We have apparently a Malfurion. Now, that can definitely work. If you go there's a lot of like lockdown, and there's also Malfurion with his Innervate, so if you go for second heal, that can work. A problem is still that Stitches, of course, has those hooks, and they are very nasty. So THC White is trying a double heal composition here. Still thinking if I would have liked Brightwing even a little bit more, because you like have the vision. The cool thing about Malfurion is his tranquility. Where if we are talking Brightwing, then at least he has the option to jump away if Stitches gets the hook in with a blink heal. So that would work, and you have also the polymorph, which can be quite nice, I suppose. But Malfurion has a cleanse that he can of course use as well to cleanse hooks out, to cleanse the bone prison. That would work. It's definitely an interesting choice. I don't see too many Malfurions these days. But well, let's jump in. Game number 1, Infernal Shrines. Cognitive going up against THC White. So let's see who's going to take the lead in this series, boys and girls. Game number 1 in the best of 3 here in the consolation match at the end of the Storm North America Playoffs Group A. We have to the left side of the map currently Cognitive with Caterpillar on Stitches, Ayakona on Rega, Faye on Jaina, Kortenluck on Lunara, and Zul played once again by Glorang. Personally, I'm very curious to see if his build is going to be adjusted compared to the match that they played earlier against Cloud9. To the right side of the map, we have THC White with Justing on Sonya, Butts on Greyman, Hyunra on ETC, Kalabunga on Tassadar, and Elheim on Malfurion. I really wonder if Hyunra is actually Korean, because that's a very Korean spelling that he has there. Currently, we have Warpaint taken on level 1 for Sonya. Besides that, nothing too fancy just yet. Moonburn once again taken with increased Moonfire damage to non-heroics, so minions mercenaries, more or less. So that's going to work. Besides, yeah, Shade again. Shade has been pretty consistent in Zul picks here today. But again, the rest of the build has changed a little bit. One of the biggest adjustments that they've seen so far is really like that Jailer talent on level 4 that has been oftentimes taken, whereas Europe tends to the increased range on the scythe. But another thing that's also kind of interesting is that we are actually... Are they just waiting there? What the hell? This is just basically them agreeing to not attack. Kortenluck is sitting there adjusting as well. When is someone of them gonna poke? That's the Wisp! It's like, hello, I see you. And the attack. Alright, so, stop being silly, boys. You're here to fight. Fight and amuse us. They're starting to jump in now at the bot lane already with that rotation. But yeah, that top lane, that was absolutely hilarious. No talent taken yet for Rega. Ayakona actually really likes to take his talents late. Kortenluck. Oh my god! Bambi! Wow, she exploded, didn't she? Bambi is dead and can say finally hello to her mother once again. So united at last. Justing taking over, and Glorang up at the top lane right now with his Zul doing his thing. We're having at the bot lane currently Ayakona, Faye, and Caterpillar still like starting that rotation between mid and bottom, working quite well. But still, like, it's one of the early stages in the game. Usually you don't really get too much done here. It's more this first shrine that is really going to matter the most. It's very rarely do we see them get far ahead at this early in the game. At this point already, we're having right now up to the top lane, Kalabunga, Justing, and Cawthon Luck already starting to head over. And I mean, if you look at the talents right now, with the Snowstorm already taken, that gives you a lot of value when we're looking at those temples in particular, because you can get the minions in there. But for us, more important is really the adjustment later on also with the Bone Prison. If you use that well in the fight, then you can capitalize on the damage on Jaina with a lot of the burst, and that is incredibly important here right now. The one thing that especially Cognitive has now to be really aware of is that they're going to heavily rely on those hooks in the later stages of the game. They have with Caterpillar currently a build that goes straight into Amplified Healing and Hungry for More. A lot of Stitches players will adjust that slightly by going for a hybrid where you go for Hungry for More on level 1 and you still go for the Slam on the rest of the talents to get even more damage in against those minions. In this case, they don't prioritize the Punisher too much, but they're actually, an isolation against Cawthon Luck is one of the biggest problems at the top shrine, because you're more or less trapped here, and that is the disaster that currently happens to Lunara. So with everybody rotating around except for Greymane, who's so experienced in the middle, Zul is starting to push, and therefore they needed someone to try and counterplay. There was just like an entire trap set up here at the top, because from the angle where we've seen THC White approach here. It's 2 kills against 0, against Cognitive, by the way. THC White is currently looking quite strong here. I like the decision that, by the way, Cognitive made to leave Zul on lane. He has incredible push power, and that is something that they're currently trying to capitalize on by simply leaving him on lane, push these in, and instead of just going for the shrine. He's now finally starting to rotate over, and that turns this, for at least a few moments, into a 4 versus 5, because Greymane isn't there yet. He didn't realize that Zul was rotating, and that's why we're having now complete shrine control for a few more seconds on the side of Cognitive, and they get the Punisher because of it. So pretty smart rotation here actually on their part. And again an adjustment on Sonya with a Hurricane on level 4 to make sure that Bone Prison cannot lock her down too hard. So it's a pretty good choice to make here. Feral Heart after Colossal Totem has been taken, and that first Punisher is starting to do some work, but Xul still rotating from lane to lane to make sure that he just bursts these waves down, especially of course with his strikes he can get those in quite easily, and Glorang is sticking it out with his own build. Jailers on level 1, Ratmas Blessing straight on level 7. The Punisher up at the top lane went through the wall, but we have still both of the teams on level 7 here, and Stitches at least going for the last bite at this point. So with last bite, he also has now the chance to just like, he has a nice cooldown reduction, and that overall can be really sweet to get a bit more sustain, and he is the only frontliner after all. We're having also a full cocktail build, by the way. A lot of players have started to make a couple of adjustments on level 1 for Greymane now. Blizzard has changed the hero in the last patch, so now the auto attacks hurt a bit more, and overall cocktail damage got reduced. Also the area of effect area, but still one of the predominant builds for Greymane. A very strong one, and for very good reason. It's very powerful still. No cleanse, by the way, for Malfurion. So with no cleanse on Malfurion, it also means, of course, that that prison is going to go through. It's one of the reasons why we're seeing Hurricane chosen on level 4 instead of the focused attack for Sonya. But already, Temps are about to be taken here. Level 7, there's the cleanse. Rhaegar with a cleanse, they're trying to use that to just escape at this point. Glorang is low, Caterpillar is also attempting to escape, but the problem is that he's in a bit of trouble there. Iacona healing him again. Apparently does not have the cooldown ready for the totem, or he would have used it already. And with Buds jumping in on his Greymane, he can deliver the final blow to drop the tank now. But that was also time that good was used at the top lane by Cawthon Luck. So all the time spent at the bottom of the map was used by Cognitive to get farther ahead. And that level 10 is going to be pretty powerful for them. Especially with Stitches, of course, he can always like cover retreat if he goes for the Pubic Ball here, which we still anticipate. And the Shrines are active with the heroic abilities any second now in play for Cognitive, which allows them to go for more or less a free Punisher. Well, actually, like looking at this, only a little bit left until level 10 is also hit by the red team, but they get a bit of a head start here if they want it. Putrid Ball has been chosen, the Poison Nova as well. It's a lot of very annoying talents. It's just like damage over time that is really prioritized here. So look at that damage, by the way. Damage over time on Stitches with the Heroic, damage over time on Lunara, on nearly all of their abilities, and damage over time with the Poison Nova. And then in comes Jaina and trying to drop the target. She's the finisher in this setup now. And that can be extremely powerful. And especially those slows are going to be brutal after a successful hook. So if Caterpillar gets one in, then it's going to be really strong. Well, I'm not quite sure why Rhaegar actually waits for his Heroic, because let's face it, that's going to be an Ancestral Healing right there. There's never ever going to be a Bloodlust. At least I don't see. That would be very surprising if we are seeing a Bloodlust in this setup now. But, well, you never know. After Cloud9 playing Bloodlust, maybe they got a taste for it. Besides that, though, we have Force Wall taken, zoning abilities, the Mosh Pit. Here comes once again the lockdown, but the Hurricane used, and Ancestral is there. That Mosh didn't really do anything. The Cleanse, of course, helped Stitches out to escape. So yeah, that was easily countered. Faye is very low, but the kill against Greymane. And Faye escapes. Greymane is down, ETC nearly falling. And look at Cawthon Lucky starting to finish the job. He goes for the double kill here. They take down Malfurion. And Justing is the only survivor, and he might actually not make it either. If Caterpillar gets the hook in, he's trying. Does he have the cooldown? Doesn't look like it. They go for the slow dodge, but goodbye, Sonya. Yeah, that's not going to work out for him. Sonya's going to fall now as well. And that is, of course, more or less a team wipe that we just saw. 5 kills against 3. Experience already at the top and at the bottom. So the first thing that Cognitive does here, they look at this setup and they say, hey guys, we just killed everybody. We don't have to like stay with 5 heroes on that shrine. We are totally safe right now. So let's move away. They understand that like prioritizing or maximizing the amount of experience that they get will allow them to push even harder with the Punisher because they will hit level 13 at that time. And with that knowledge, they use now the opportunity to go in. They had to rotate back though with Rhaegar and with also Zul to make sure that they have the hit points back. Here comes, by the way, the Mega Smash now for Stitches. No Relentless for him here. And they're starting to jump in with the Punisher. The fort is already about to go down. Here comes Zul, actually attacking the wall. Glorvin could have gone for a Bone Prison here. Didn't do that just yet, though. Corpse Explosion after Rathma's Blessing. So he's going again for that skeleton-focused build that he already showcased in one of the earlier games against Cloud9. We're also seeing at the bot lane, still Zul starting to pressure in. And I mean, let's talk a little bit about the pressure on the hero overall. Zul with 96,000 siege damage at this point, definitely taking the top spot here, and his wave clear is insane. But when it comes to hero damage, he's still doing a solid job. 13,000 isn't too shabby if you consider that Lunara with 15k is currently the top damage dealer on the side of Team Cognitive. Sonya still a little bit ahead with the 16,000 that she was able to get out. By the way, without focus attack here, just highlighting that again. Focus attack has been dropped to give way to Hurricane so that you can evade the Bone Prison if it's being used, which is incredibly important. So, well, once again, let's double check what we are going to see for level 13 once they're coming in play. But in structures, Cognitive is of course doing an amazing job right now. I mean, they're nearly dropping every single fort here. It's only one missing and this is going to fall now as well. And there's very little that THC White can do about this. Cognitive has heroes on all of the lanes now, well, with the exception of the mid lane, but we also saw the same play happen from the red team who wants to maximize the experience now. But that means that they are very alone at the bottom in a 4 versus 3. Down goes Sonya, and that is not really what they wanted. Again, a massive lead in experience now for Cognitive. They're starting to get farther and farther ahead. They took a lot of experience thanks to that drop on structures. So with that, we're currently seeing them in a situation where we have, well, more or less a 2.5 level lead already. And that's, of course, a bit of a disaster here. Earth Shield, by the way, has been chosen. I like the synergy between Earth Shield and Hungry for More. That's actually like a pretty cool thing. So Earth Shield is oftentimes a talent that is not really taken any longer because right now the only shield that you get is a 12% increase, down from 15, which it was a patch ago. But now that we have Stitches, just with incredible damage output, the Stitches actually at this point has already 22 stacks, which allows him for extra 660 hit points. So that Earth Shield is already giving him roughly 70 additional hit points from the main damage, sorry, the main overall. So not the total 70, but an additional because of that talent. So as the hit point pool on Stitches increases, also the value that you get out of Earth Shield increases. So that's pretty cool if you play with the Stitches here. But it of course means that you don't have tidal waves, so you have to account for that. You're not going to see that cooldown reduction. Root or the lockdown against Greymane here, level 13 talent now finally ready, but it's 13 versus 16. Massive disadvantage. Very early Tranquility being used here, but with Caterpillar rocking his Putrid Bile, that makes of course quite a bit of sense, but look at that insane poke here. Even Ice Block had to be used by Malfurion right now. Glorang wants to go in, goes for the prison, and is dropping Malfurion. Malfurion is down. Hyunra is about, oh my god. god, Ring of Frost perfectly executed together with the Blizzard. Completely blocking the escape path. The Scythe finishes off the last target. Greyman annihilated. And that is now 11 kills against 3. And of course the entire map is open to them now. Immediately Glorang is starting to move over. He wants to get his siege damage in up at the top lane where he can start to drop a couple of structures. Down to the bottom of the map we are seeing a very similar picture, but in this case it's Lunara and Jaina trying to drop them. And, well, Lunara actually went into Nature's Culling here. So that's one of those things that we haven't really talked about too much just yet, but Nature's Culling allows you to get a massive amount of siege damage out as well. And in this case, of course, you can drop the structures quite easily, which is exactly what they've been doing here. The Unfair Advantage and the Starwood Spear, 16 the Earthgrasp Totem now, and of course, besides that, the Skeleton Mastery as well. A full Skeleton focus on the build for Zul, the same style that they already played in the earlier game against Cloud9. It backfired a little bit on that particular case, but still. Looking at the damage right now, 155,000 siege damage on Zul. Insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, his wave clear is incredible right now. And he's really doing with all of those skeletons a fantastic job pushing these lanes in. It's one of the main reasons why they've always been trying to just like split him off from the rest of the team, trying to go on the lane or two to like push these back as fast as he can and get an experience lead. And it works incredibly well for them. So also, when we're talking experience, let's take a quick look at that. 17,000 on Zul. Look at the experience gather here. This is the main reason, like this wave clear that he has, the attack damage also against structures, and him just rotating through lanes whereas the rest of the team is occupied on shrines. That is giving him amazing value right now on this map, and one of the reasons why they're so fired. Nice hook here. Great job by Caterpillar, but already an immediate force wall counteracting that, at least to a certain extent. So right now, we have still a lot of damage over here. Zul is not even with them though, but it's a 5 versus 4, and THC White is of course trying to go for a comeback. For that they need a good mosh pit. A good mosh pit would go a long way in these situations now, but Zul flank is incoming, and he goes for the prison. Justin can use once again. Here comes the bomb! Yeah, well, that's a little bit too late. Oh, actually, they're getting some... Get frosted, son! Yep, there's the double, there's the triple kill. They at least get Zul down, but Justin is most likely going to fall as well. Caterpillar, after the Mega Smash, went into the slow on 16, and that's something that they capitalize on right now. But Justin is actually able to escape. Ferocious Healer makes it possible. The problem is that now we are seeing that keep in the mid lane fall in a few seconds. The top lane keep has already been obliterated, and they could just move straight down to the bottom and take that down as well. They could theoretically actually have tried to go for core here, but now they have the level 20 ability, and they're playing it safe. They know that this is incredibly important for them right now. So at this point, they are starting to jump in once again. Down here, we already have an attempt to go straight for the third keep. That's going to be the last one. Shrine is activated as well. It's a 4-level lead right now. There have been a couple of attempts by them, but yeah, they are straight going for the potential kill. We have actually like the Bone Spear taken once again. Bone Spear on Zul, and we have Rewind on Rhaegar, but Stitches is under a bit of trouble. There's the shield with the Earth Shield, but no cooldowns ready except for the go for the throw, so that's also another big problem. Looking once again at the... I mean, the siege damage, he's going to hit the 200k at some point right now, isn't he? So I feel in this game we're going to definitely see that milestone fall. We have in terms of siege damage, yeah, Zul is already up there, is trying to like put that in right now. Yeah, he is starting to take down also now, of course, the camps, and you can really see that he has a really easy time taking these camps down. At the same time now, though, when we're looking at the mid lane, it's really going to be really important what's going to happen with this one. The problem for THC White is that they have to contest it. They can't just simply sit tight and wait for the Punisher to end the game, so they have to go in. It's the last chance to make a play here, but of course they're not only 3 levels behind, they're an entire talent behind. And that's gonna be the biggest problem for them. They have to make a play though, like they have no other choice. They need to try, and they're doing exactly that. They need to win the Punisher. Look at the right side of the minimap. There's like all of the lanes are gonna pressure in against this. Justin, uh-oh, he's about to fall. Tranquility has been used. Yonra also low, slides away. But they are all, oh my god, Zul is having a field day, and so does the Ring of Frost with a Blizzard. They are all getting blasted to pieces. Double, triple, quad kill any moment now. The hook, dodge, nice juke, but the GG is called. They don't even have to go for the Punisher anymore. They can just simply finish the game, and especially with that camp pushing the top already, it's not going to be any problem for them whatsoever. Tassadar is attempting to escape. Khaldor wants the kill though, but the force wall is saving him for now. So Kalabunga is saying like, well, I am going to survive, but yeah, he actually is. So 207,000 on the side of Zul. There's the kill on the core, and that is game number 1 in favor of Cognitive. He had the consolation match of Group A at the end of the Storm, North America. Good job, well played, congratulations, and we're of course going to jump into game number 2. Towers of Doom, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be map number 2 between Cognitive and THC White. An immediate ban on Zeratul, and this time Cognitive is not kidding around. They're saying like, alright, let's get rid of Zul. Or are they? Yes, they are. Okay. So they confirmed the pick. And with that, we have THC White going into an early Greymane here. We've actually seen a couple of Greymane bans as well. It's still a very versatile hero that can be used. And for Cognitive is of course a question, yes, Liming or no Liming? That's the question. And they seem to go for Liming here for the damage. Trying to get the resets in as well. I mean, Towers of Doom is definitely one of the maps that is pretty cool. Actually, if I remember correctly, it was the map where THC White in their earlier series drafted a Cho'Gall. And I personally want to see if Cognitive reacts to that by banning out Cho'Gall. Or if THC White gets the chance to play him again. And if they do, if they actually use that. So it could be a very cool game here, once again. Not quite sure what's going to happen here. Of course, THC White overall in the group still a bit of an underdog, no question about that. But they actually at the early game in the last match were able to really just like fight back. And if they are able to gain a bit of momentum, they might be able to take a map off Cognitive here. For now, Cognitive on the other hand though, okay, Rhaegar early on pick could have gone into also one of the frontliners. It comes often down to the question, what do you prioritize higher? Do you really want to have like Rhaegar with those heals that he really brings to the table in a utility as well? We have seen a huge focus on Muradin as well, and I could definitely see THC White go for a tank at this point, since in this case they know that afterwards we're going to see bans on both sides, and that could result in Cognitive trying to limit their options.
You are not prepared.
Cloud Persona, thank you very much for the sub, my friend. And yeah, there he is, Muradin. Muradin picked, I like it. And we have Jaina together with that. So Jaina Greymane for damage, Muradin at the front line. In that case, it's already the stun, Blizzard, and then Greymane can even jump in as a finisher if they want. When it comes to the bans, I mean, we don't really see as many bans on supports anymore as we did in the past. It's pretty tricky to actually limit the hero pool. One of the cool changes, by the way, that Blizzard made in the last patch was also that they took a bit of the heal away from the level 7 talent on Karazim and put it on his normal heal, which basically allows Karazim now to go into Cleanse. Before that, Cleanse for Karazim was always a huge sacrifice. So at this point, if you need a Cleanse hero for whatever reason, then Karazim is now a much better option than he was before. Cognitive, the ban out of Thrall. I could see a ban on Sonya, to be honest with you. I feel that in this case, depending on what Cognitive goes for as their frontliner, they could run this with a Sonya as well. Falstad, then again, is also a very strong choice. So both of these heroes are definitely good bans at this point. And Falstad, of course, with a more of a playstyle towards that Gathering Storm on level 1 now over the auto attack build after Blizzard changed things up a little bit in the last patch in 16.4. Cognitive, Tyrael in this case. I mean, it would give you additional shield, but if you play Tyrael, then definitely a double front line. As a solo front line, that would be a bit awkward. We have Tyrael. I would like that Sonya. Sonya together with him. That would be kind of nice. You can, of course, also really start to jump that backline. Oh, but a Tassadar is being chosen here right now. That is massive sustain, actually. If you pick that Tassadar, then you can play Tyrael solo. The shields on Tyrael, Rhaegar with the heals, Tassadar then like, with the shields. Yes, that's definitely like a build where you can play Tyrael then solo. If you go for a single support, then a double frontline would have been required here, but now they can use him as the only frontliner. But they can still add a Sonya, for example, if they feel that this is something that they need here. And Sonya would actually be quite nice, because she would benefit from Tassadar's level 4 talent as well, the Leeching Plasma, quite nicely. So that definitely works. THC White, they... okay, they picked Sonya. Alright, makes sense. As kinda expected. I mean, actually I thought that Cognitive would try to pick her away, but now that they didn't, THC White says like, alright, we're gonna do that. And then Uther for the heals. Yeah, well, they're teasing with Nubarak for a second, but that would mean no healer, and I don't believe that. And Illidan, yeah, that can definitely work here. The problem with Illidan is that Sonya is actually quite good against him, because she has massive burst damage that she can push out. Illidan is gonna have a tough game. Yes, there is a double support, that's great, Tassadar and Rhaegar, but there's a Jaina against him, and there's also like Sonya, and there's a couple of stuns available. Muradin with a stun, Muradin with a reverberation build, then there's the Uther. To be absolutely honest with you, that is a really shitty draft for Illidan. Like, THC's White setup is incredibly strong against Illidan. You have Muradin with a stun. You have the reverberation build for the auto attack reduction. Uther has a stun. We have Sonya also with a stun on the spear. Then she has a slam that she can bring to the table. Greymane with the burst damage. And Jaina as well. Like, Illidan is definitely in a spot where everything has, like, a lot of teams right now don't draft a lot of Illidan because they say, hey, we need a perfect draft to make Illidan work, and we need to make sure that our opponent doesn't have like a good setup against him. So right now, Illidan and Tyrell are going to try to, of course, like create some space for Li Ming in the backline to do the damage. But still, Illidan needs to be careful with this. He has a double support behind him. Don't get me wrong, that's great. But still, he needs to be very, very careful that he doesn't get blasted away immediately. House of Doom is game number 2 or map number 2. So guys, let's jump in and find out which team is going to take it here. Are we going to see Cognitive with a 2-0 victory? Or is THC White going to jump back in? And Emdar, it's nice timing on that one, dude. And thank you very much for the support, my friend. Cheers for that. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Khaldor, best caster, especially in analyzing the game. Draft guesses and knowledge of how teams work. Massive man. Keep up the good stuff.
Well, I'm blushing, dude. Thank you very much for that. I didn't guess that Illidan, though. I didn't really see that coming. I expected really a Sonya to be taken instead earlier, so that THC White couldn't take her away. But, well, let's find out together how that Illidan is going to work out for them. Game number 2 in the best of 3 series here at the Constellation match. We have currently to the left side of the map Cognitive with the 1-0 lead in the game. And right now we're actually seeing Caterpillar on Tyrael, Faye on Li Ming, we have Glorung on Illidan, Ayakona on Rhaegar, and Cawthon Luck on Tassadar. To the right side of the map, Justing for THC White playing Jaina. We have Kalabunga on Sonya. We're seeing Hyunra on Muradin, Elaim on Uther, and Butts on Greymane. It's a very interesting setup for an Illidan composition, I'm not going to lie here. Like, usually if you consider all those counterplays potentially against Illidan, it's not really a setup where you would say, oh my god, Illidan is going to wreck this. There's a lot of stuns available. Stuns on Uther, Muradin, Sonya that they can use to really lock Illidan down. And if that happens, and the Reverberation build is also kicking in, then they could try and burst him away before the fight even starts. So Illidan has to be very careful. He's going to unfold his strength a little bit later in the game, early on, usually a bit on the weaker side. And especially against Jaina's ability damage, he's going to have an easier time once he reaches level 13. But for now, they're still going to try and, of course, make that happen somehow. Experience soak at this point for Cognitive is the most important part. For them, it's really not big deal to let one of the early altars go. If they need to, they can jump in later when Illidan is a little bit stronger and can contribute more to this. Keep in mind that especially on Tassadar, also Leeching Plasma and Kala's Embrace are going to be very important talents. So once that level 7 is hit, Illidan is already going to be a lot safer. With level 10 and his Metamorphosis, then again, that's going to help him even more. So after that, it's going to be much easier for them. But before that, they really need to make sure that they take it very easy. If they overextend and lose a few heroes, then THC White can definitely start to snowball a little bit, which is of course what they're currently hoping for here. We're seeing Warpaint again from Sonya taken. Tassadar locked down once, twice. That's lockdown that we've been talking about. Butts was jumping in, but Faye helping out a bit with a poke from a distance. For her, we are seeing on level 1 now Power Hungry taken. We have the Horadric Reforging, by the way, taken. So in this case, it's a cooldown reduction that Tyrael is currently waiting for. It's more one of these utility tanks than anything else, and with the massive support that they have in the backline, they can definitely use the hero there. Uh-oh, Justing is in a very bad spot, and yeah, that was kind of rotation that they were hoping for. As I said, they can let a tower slide, but if they get their kills in early like this, and also an elite in talents, then of course they can still jump for it. Ayakona is playing it very safe down here. Level 4 talents now with Immolation taken. We're also seeing Triumvirate already, and even more sustained with a Vampiric Strike. He has the altar right now, and also we are not seeing Leeching Plasma, but the mental acuity. There's only the only vision, like there's no stealth hero on the other setup, so that's already one thing. No Hurricane this time, not needed. Instead, it's the focus attacks. Li Ming is being zoned out a little bit, and you can really tell that they're just getting experience. They're buying time for Illidan to get the camp at the top. It was never the idea to go for the altar, and this is exactly what I've been talking about earlier. You don't really need to go for the early altars. Just keep your hero safe. Don't die. Oh, well, in this case, Rega is down. Yeah, so that's a bit of an upset. The only idea was really to just like delay a bit. Illidan took the camp at the top, and now Caterpillar can take a few of the towers down. In experience, they were rewarded by half a level. So that was definitely like intentional. They knew that with Illidan being rather weak at this point, yeah, it's not too much that they can do about it. So they were just like trying to get a bit of extra experience at the top lane with the camp and take it from there. So right now we're having also, well, on level 1, the Electric Charge taken. It's a talent that really caters to a melee assassin if he dives in deep. The problem is really that THC White is starting to take a lot, or like put a lot of pressure on them. They know that early on they can try to snowball at this point. So that's currently the idea of THC White. Make sure that the opponent does not get ahead in experience. Keep that experience gap to a minimum. Make sure that you get a couple of kills and try to just like completely dominate the early stages. Later on, dealing with Illidan has to be the highest priority when he jumps in. But for now, they can actually just like focus on their own style. So already, we have Glorung trying to get away here. He's basically caught at the wrong side of the map and trying to get away. And he is able to escape, waiting for the rest. The problem is that Muradin might actually fall, and that would be a really bad start for THC White. If they lose heroes like Muradin this early already, no they don't. But they might lose Greymane! Illidan wants to go in and the kill, thanks to Li Ming. And oh my god, Jaina getting blown away as well. So we are seeing a double kill for Cognitive. And that is a very bad start. Keep in mind that during all of this, Tyrael was actually at the top. That makes things even worse. Tyrael wasn't even with him. He was at the top the entire time. And now we're having him with the battle momentum. There's now also first aid. We have Kala's Embrace. And now things are starting to get a bit ugly for the team in red. THC White has to be super careful here now. We are seeing them again with Wolfheart taken as level 1 talent on Greymane. This talent has to, or level 1 has changed a little bit. Down to the bot lane, Rega is still there, so they give up one of the altars. So they are absolutely happy taking the exchange. It's a 2 altar play at this point, so they're just saying, okay guys, we're going to take 1 shot or 4 shots against them. They're going to get 4 in as well. We soaked the experience. We had a rotation on the side of THC White to the bot lane to meet that, so they did not commit with 5 heroes to the top for the 2 altars, and for very good reason. But again, the lockdown attempt, and this time Glorung is down, and welcome to the burst, my friend. That's exactly what they have to go for. And that was without Jaina, by the way. Jaina was still at the bottom. She's rotating right now, trying to soak the waves. Again, the 5 versus 2 situation at the top, and it's a double kill. THC White is saying like, oh yeah, you caught us off guard at the bot lane a little bit, and that shouldn't have happened, but we are still going to show you that we are not just simply being taken out here. They are still behind the level though. And that's the big advantage, of course, in that case that we get from the soak that we've seen from Cognitive. And Cognitive, with its Integrate, with a Force Wall, with Sanctification, Illidan with Metamorphosis, should you go for the talent? I mean, in theory, you could, in certain cases, go for the hunt on certain maps. We've seen that very rarely, but Metamorphosis is he goes for it. Wow. Okay, I'm a little bit blown away, and I'm going to explain why. Jaina down at the bot. The hunt can be great to dart in and kill any kind of target on the map, especially, of course, when you are trying to just like jump in from a distance into the backline and you see someone on another lane that's very much alone. The problem with the hunt is that Illidan does not have the opportunity to use Metamorphosis to just dodge a few of these burst abilities that we are seeing for THC White. And that's oftentimes the last surviving moment of Illidan if he's able to get that in. So a massive, massive commitment here to aggression on the side of Cognitive. It's cool, I like it, don't get me wrong, I mean it's awesome, we are seeing the hunt here. But at the same time, I'm very curious to see how he's going to survive in those later stages. With all that burst that we're seeing, and Uther making an adjustment, him saying, we need more stun. Divine Storm it is. Illidan, come at me, bro. Once that he jumps in, there's going to be stun after stun after stun, and Illidan doesn't even have Metamorphosis to use maybe like small frames between the stuns to jump out. So if the damage is being delivered, then Illidan is going to be in trouble. Illidan then again, on the other hand, is now once again going for the camp at the top lane. So Glorung is just playing around the opponent. They're trying to get into the late game. game. As I said earlier, this is for them the really important part. Try to get an experience, try to snowball later, and they are starting to move in. And at the bot lane, of course, all they have to do for now is survive. Buy time for Illidan, survive down here. Again, we have Caterpillar trying to move away here, jumping out already. It's a 4 versus 5 the entire time. Here comes the Ancestral Healing, Sanctification used as well. Still, now finally the shots taken with the altar, but they're moving away, and they're all still there. Nice. Oh my god, if they get the kill. Oh, that could have been a kill, but it's now the kill against Rhaegar. Rhaegar is down, but Illidan took the entire tower. Illidan takes the tower, puts more pressure on THC White. Yeah, currently at the bot lane, still active, and of course he could still jump down. Oh my god, Sonya is down. THC White is having some problems here. I mean, first of all, for Cognitive, it didn't really work perfectly, because what they were trying to do is, of course, keep everybody alive, and they lost Rhaegar. But now they got the counter kill against Sonya, and that really is great for them. No team fights in this game, no really big team fights just yet. But Glorang is starting to move in, and he is just waiting for a chance, and that is... They could have actually gone for it, but they want to go for the camp instead. Uther is alone, they didn't really know that. Illidan by now is finally a 6th sense. They're seeing Glass Cannon taken, of course, with all those heroes really creating space for her. Why wouldn't she go for the extra damage? It makes perfect sense. And besides that, we have Earth Shield now taken as well. Earth Shield, I mean, you can't argue about the talent. It's of course cool if you want to keep somebody alive a little bit. Can spam that out. We could have seen also like the tidal waves, but in this case, deciding to not go for it. The tower has been reclaimed up at the top, but by now we are still seeing the shots being called by Cognitive. And they have level 13 now, but for how long? That's the question. Because now we are of course going to see some soak from like basically all lanes on the side of Team THC White. But here comes the combo. They're trying to jump in. Illidan could go for the hunt, but he doesn't want to go into the tower. This is really low though, so this could be sniped down. Of course, by now Li Ming also does less damage against towers with her abilities, especially when it comes to that. So that's going to be an important part of this game. At the top lane, Sonya still there. The hunt being used, jumping into the backline, trying to go for Greymane. Disintegrate already used, and they're trying to go for Hyunra. Here comes the kill against that tower, and it's a 5 versus 4. 5 versus 4 situation. They go for Uther. He stuns her in, and the kill is there. Nice attempt to snipe now also Hyunra on his Muradin, but that was another great kill. And the tower also chosen. It's a double altar, by the way, that is now active on the map, and they can channel both of them. They're already at it. That's 10 points. And they are behind with 28 against 36, but as pointed out several times, this is the game that they're playing. This is the entire strategy here. Dominate in the early game, only the lanes, get the experience, and then later on start to snowball it when you have a lead in experience and in talents, and that's exactly what's happening. They're jumping in again, and the hunt is not ready, but yeah, well, it was used over here. There's the kill, and Sonya's down. 7 kills against 4, and so far it's really working out for them. Even the defense at the bot lane right now on the tower. We have still the top lane being pushed, and this is one of these exchange plays that we oftentimes see on altars of Towers of Doom. That you lose one tower, you claim another. You move around your opponent the entire time, and Illidan is doing Illidan things. He's killing stuff. He's killing camps right now, trying to take those. At the top lane, we have another altar attack. So the only thing that THC White can do is either defend this one, or reclaim the one at the bot lane. One of the two. They have to make a decision. They can't have both. And right now, it actually looks like they're going to lose both. They're finally starting to focus at the bot lane a little bit more. Caterpillar is up here at the top. They're playing it a bit safe because they don't really know what's going to happen with the rotation. So at the top lane, they're still 2 against 1. But at the bottom, we are seeing this one reclaimed. They could rotate to the top now and try to take this one. Ah, well, that's the camp also taken. Up at the top, Jaina has joined, so that makes things a little bit easier for them. Caterpillar with a Sanctification. Illidan is in range. He's not in range for the hunt. Here comes the lockdown attempt. Ring of Frost being used. Heals on Sonya. 4 versus 3 scenario. Illidan at the bot lane. Jaina down. And Illidan at the bot lane is trying to go for a potential kill. He's once again with those camps that he just took, trying to go for one of the towers here. At the top, Tyrael has died, but Illidan takes the tower down here. Top lane, still the pressure. Bats is low, so is Kalabunga. And a pause has been asked for as Hyunra has left the game. 16 talent now versus 13, and on 16 we have Mirror Ball taken. The Holy Ground as well. We've seen the Imposing Will now, and we have blood for Illidan, which of course helps him in these situations. So 5 against 3 towers once again. We're having at the same time now one of the altars ready right over here. The next one is going to be ready in a couple of seconds over there. 30 overall. We're having now also the Rising Storm taken, so pretty much the builds that you would expect out of this. The hunt's over working out for them, but you can really tell that they have no intention of team fighting at this point. They know that the setup is actually a bit tricky, but they make great movements around the opponent, and that's one of the great things for Cognitive now. They really play around their opponent at this point. It's actually 6 towers right now against 2 even. 6 against 2, and they're focusing on the one in the middle now as well. Tyrell is still down on the other hand, so that's another problem that they have. But he's down for another 10 seconds. These altars are going to spawn in 5. The problem is that if this one is going to take it out as well, then all of a sudden we have an endless barrage happening. Even if the 2 towers are now claimed by the red team, they only get 4 shots out of it, and that's it. 16 versus 16, first one channeled. Boom, massive barrage happening, 20 against 28. Down here, Cawthon Luck is in position, delaying a little bit before he moves away, trying to go for the storm. They're trying, of course, to buy some time, but Elheim, disintegrate, just stopping short before they're able to get the kill. Illidan is immediately down, immediately bursted. Sanctification came too late to save him here, and this could be the turnaround here. The THC White is eating so much damage from that Dimming. Hyonra with his ult, here comes that Ring of Frost, they go for Caterpillar, they're trying to kill him. Ayakona healing himself with the Ancestral Healing. Elohim goes down, Uther eliminated. 26 to 20 points on the course now, and we are having 18 versus 16 in levels. Still even talents, but Mirrodin, he needs to be very careful because he's getting jumped. And where is that totem? Not being used yet. Still 6 towers against 2, and they could claim the one at the bot lane right now, and that would start the barrage once again. That's also, of course, a threat that THC White is very well aware of, which is why they are moving into the middle of the map to try to take this one at least and go for an exchange again. But this down here to the bot lane is definitely going to be lost. Phase there, very low in mana, needs to be careful with that. Illidan is back, keep in mind his cooldown on the Hunt is also ready, so he can jump in from the distance. That's something that THC White has to consider if they go into a battle. And we have another attempt to, of course, like drop the one at the top lane as well. Still a great situation here for Cognitive. Playing around the opponent, make them dance to whatever kind of tune you play, and that's what we are seeing them do. They are dictating the pace of the game. They are basically forcing THC White into a very reactive playstyle where they can't make decisions. They can't really call the shots here. They always have to react to the movements of Cognitive. And the only thing that they can at some point try and do is force them into a team fight that they could definitely win. If they have good coordination between their abilities, they can win a team fight. They have so many stunts that they can go for crazy lockdown, and the damage output on Justing with his Jaina is going to be pretty sweet as well. Altar spawning again. Here's a bit of a damage number for you. You have, especially on Greymane, 37,000. But look at Li Ming, 56,000 damage right now. 1 ult on the map, that's all that we're having. Holy Ground is zoning them out, but Kawabunga is starting to move in. They are buying time. Time for the altar over here, time for the also for the tower over here, and the one up at the top. And that's level 20. That's level 20 that they got now. Illidan is going for the Bolt of the Storm. A little bit sad that he didn't go for the Global Hunt. Yeah, it goes for the Bolt of the Storm. Down here, on the other hand, they're starting to fight again, and Illidan is starting to move in. Illidan is once again there, and Jaina is in the back, and they're starting to jump in the kill against Uther, and Jaina is now being attacked as well. Hyonra and his Mirrodin is low, but over here, Ice Block had to be used. Jaina is falling, and now they're going to go for Sonya. Sonya is going to fall, Greymane is already dead, and Sonya is going to be eliminated as well. Trying to get a counter kill, but Mirrodin at the same time has fallen down here. So Mirrodin is down. It's an entire team wipe, and that of course means that they can just easily go for the tower before they go for the altar. That would be 7 hits then, and also the start of a barrage. They are even attempting to go for the boss at the top lane right now. At least a few of the heroes are starting to move over here, and they're going to get all of that. That's going to be a massive amount of shots that's going to be fired against the core of the red team. So first of all, they're going to get this one. Up at the top, they're already going to go for the fight here, and with level 20, it's not going to be a problem for them whatsoever. Here's already the altar, so it's going to start the barrage now. An endless rain of bombardments against the core. They're going to take the boss as well. Boss is firing their shots too, and we're going to see the next barrage happening from the altar that they're now capturing as well. So they are actually going full. I mean, this is 7 points on the core, and guys, they are in desperate need of taking the altar in the middle, and they know it, of course. Core, shot after shot is being fired. The game might actually end right here. They only have to delay. It's all that they have to do. 5 points on the core, 4 points on the core. Next shot any second right now. They're trying to burst it down. It's going to be 3 points on the core. Here comes the damage. They're going for the fight, and they claim it, but they lose. They lose Uther. They lose Uther. They lose Sonya. This is game. Jaina is down. Hyonra is trying to escape. All they have to do is claim this one. Actually, like, these guys are going to finish it right now. Bam. Here's the shots, and that is game. GG. And we are going to see Cognitive forward to the next round, to the round of 8. They advanced together with Cloud9. Congratulations after taking down THC White with a 2-0 victory.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is GG and the end of another series here on KhaldorTV with Heroes of the Storm. So once again, we have another video finished, and I hope that you enjoyed the commentary and that you liked the game, of course, as well. It was a pleasure casting the match for you. And if you guys really enjoyed it, then make sure that you give that video a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that too. If you have friends that are interested in Heroes of the esports scene, then definitely recommend the channel to them, or just show them the video if they want to see like a bit how the pros are drafting here, especially of course when it comes to the North American scene, European scene. And I mean, these days we even have a couple of Chinese games on the channel here, so I hope that you enjoy that as well. That being said, thank you very much for watching again. I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here on the channel. Have a great day and enjoy your week, and see you soon. Bye bye.